Coming up next, a big reason why you are feeling burned out. And then millennials are dumping their jobs. We'll tell you why. It's also Tuesday Juice Day. And of course, we take your calls. And it all starts right now. Yes, welcome to the Ken Coleman Show. We're coming to you live from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville, and you've joined a conversation about you, specifically, what you were born to do. There is a role that you were created to fill. That means you are needed, and it means you must do it. So we want to help you with figuring that out, whether you have no idea what that role is, or you know what the role is, but you don't know how to get there, or you know what the role is, you know how to get there, but fear, finances, family, past failure is holding you back. The world needs what you have to offer. So let's get after it, shall we? 844-747-2577. That's the phone number. 844-747-2577. All right, let's dive in. Let's get right to it. Now, one of the main reasons, there are 5, and I talk about this regularly, there are 5 major reasons why people feel burned out, where they just are at the point where they feel like they've got nothing left in the tank, right? Just running on fumes. One of the main reasons is passion for the work. You don't have any juice. You don't love the work. You just don't. You gotta love the work itself. It's not about, well, I love my job. Well, there's so many circumstances and so many elements that would make that statement true. Because it is possible that you love your work, but you don't love your job. Think about that. You love the work you do, but you're in a really awful culture and environment. And so your job, you don't love your job, but you love your work. But you got to love your work in order to love your job, right? You got to love your work in order to be in your dream job. And so I want to just briefly go through the 15 universal passions that we have unveiled in my brand new assessment called Get Clear, the Get Clear Career Assessment. As we walk you through this online assessment, we group all types of work into 15 categories. And these are general categories, but you can fit all work into these categories. And so I want to walk through them briefly as we begin to continue to put more specific language on the methodology that we teach on the show, which is, as a reminder, if you're new, that you are in your sweet spot. You're doing what you were born to do. You're in that unique role. Remember, it's not a job title, but you're in that unique role in work when you are using what you do best, your talent, to do work that you love, passion, to produce or accomplish results that matter deeply to you, mission. So when talent, passion, and mission are aligned, then you're in your dream job. And there's multiple dream jobs, multiple career paths. So it's really this clarity and understanding that frees you up. So let's walk through very briefly the 15 passions, work that you could love. One is advising. Again, these are types of work. So advising, this is when you are offering guidance, suggestions, and advice to others. The next is advocating. This is you love speaking on behalf of a certain cause or group of people. Next is analyzing. This is you examining an issue or an object, breaking it down into various parts for you to understand and for others to understand as well. Next is caregiving. This is you love providing care. It could be all different types of care. It doesn't have to be just health care, but you get the juice when you're caring for others. Next is creating. Come on. You thrive when you're creating. Could be an idea, could be a business, could be content, could be art, music. You just love creating, bringing something to life out of nothing. Next is finishing. Oh, you get tremendous satisfaction when you finish a project or a task or a list. You're all about getting things done. You love getting things done. Next is leading. Obviously, this is about people. You love serving and influencing people to be able to do their best to move a team towards a shared goal. Next is making. Now, this is similar to creating, but this is more tactile, if you will. This is physical making. Could be construction, of course. Could be building a car. Could be building technology, systems and wires and all that. Putting it all together, you enjoy making, assembling. This is, again, very, very driven with your hands, more the builder, fixer types. Next is performing. Well, you just come alive when you're on a stage. You love the spotlight. You love a high-pressure type of work where people are looking at you, counting on you to get it done. Next is planning. Oh, when it comes to project planning, details, putting it all together to come up with a system. You love planning. Next is promoting. You get energized when you're explaining the features of something that could make somebody's life better. You love selling products or services. You love promoting a cause or people. Next is protecting. You're passionate about defending the vulnerable, shielding others from danger. And then researching is next. This is digging in. You love chasing something down. You're the bloodhound, if you will. You're going to get after it. I'm going to research. I'm going to dig. I want to get to the bottom of it, fueled by tremendous curiosity. Next is solving. Oh, you're all about fixing stuff, whether it's mechanical, technical, systematic, or mathematical. You love solving problems. And then finally, teaching. You come alive when you're sharing knowledge, opening people's minds up to new ideas, or helping them master new skills. So those are the 15 types of work. And when you take the Get Clear Career Assessment at kencoleman.com, you will get a report on your top 3. The top 3 types of work that you love. And when you see that, you go, okay, I have a real good idea now of what makes my heart pound as it relates to work. Now, here's the other thing. We will also show you how you score on the other 12 of the 15. We show you and give you a good deep down kind of summary on your top 3. So you go, okay, this is where I need to be at. I need to be doing this kind of work to experience true meaning and enjoyment during my day. But it also show you some areas where, hey, I enjoy this. I don't love it, but it's okay. I enjoy this work. And we can see, okay, if I have a good amount of my work here, I'm going to still feel the juice. But then we show you stuff that you don't enjoy at all. So that you go, hey, if I'm spending a good portion of my day doing this kind of work, things are off. And so that's the kind of enlightenment we give you in the Get Clear Career Assessment. And it's so important for you to take inventory of not just what you want to do, but also inventory of maybe some stuff you're doing now and you wonder, why do I feel burned out? Well, because you're spending half or more of your day doing stuff that you can't stand. Is it lifting you? Or is it sucking the life out of you? You know, one little exercise that would be great if you haven't taken the assessment or before you take the assessment, go around right now with a pad and pencil and throughout your day, the different type of tasks you do and just kind of rate it. Does it give me the juice or does it suck the life out of me? Do I like it or do I loathe it? Great exercise to take a real snapshot of your current work. And folks, if you've got 50% of your day, even 40% of your day, I'd say even 30% of your day doing stuff that you loathe, you got to make some adjustments. But I think a good rule of thumb is 80% of your day, you're spending time doing work that you really, really love, or you enjoy it. It's not something you love, but it's enjoyable work. Those two emotions need to be attached to 80% of your work. If it's not, I'm just telling you right now, it's only a matter of time before you realize that you have no passion for this work at all, and it's going to take an effect on you. So that's why we teach talent and we teach passion. Tomorrow, we'll go through the 6 missional results that motivate us. People call all the time and say, Ken, I'm not motivated. And I go, okay, great. I know exactly what we got to discuss. We got to get to the intrinsic motivation behind your work. And there are 6 drivers, intrinsic motivators, which means we do it because we want to do it, not because we have to do it. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow as we unpack the 3 indicators that every human has. Talent, it's what you do best. Passion, work you love. And mission, results that matter deeply to you. If you need motivation, you got to figure out what your motive is. And the 6 drivers will help you do that. So stay tuned. We're going to get to that tomorrow. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Before we get to the phones, let's address this. I'm jostling you folks. I hope I'm pushing you. And when you got to step out and change jobs, even change career paths, I know it's frustrating. Do you ever feel like you're just sending job applications into a black hole and you don't even know if anybody's seen them? It's just worse than a no. It's crickets. So my friends at ZipRecruiter can help. ZipRecruiter is the #1 job site in the United States, and they don't keep you in the dark. Every time your application gets viewed or it gets a thumbs up by an employer or your contact info was revealed, they'll send you a status update, and you know exactly where you stand. And by the way, once an employer wants to reach out to you, Zip lets them come to you directly. That's why I love their service. It's easy and it's free. Sign up for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken today. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken and experience the better way to find a job. ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. All right, let's go to Venice, Florida, where Jennifer's going to start us off this hour. Jennifer, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you? It's
Jennifer,
so nice to talk to you.
Well, it's good to talk to you. I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
I can tell you're living the dream. You're clearly good at what you do. I can tell you really have passion about what you do, and I'm looking for some advice.
Good.
I'm new to your show.
Okay.
So I've been a nurse, an RN, for about 17 years, a nurse practitioner for about 5 of those years, and have been in my current role for about 9 months. I love my company, and I love the work that I do, but my company recently opened up a manager position that I want. I applied for the position, and I have an interview on Thursday. I know I would really do a good job in that role, and I've even downloaded your How to Win the Interview guide, but I've never had management experience before formally. I mean, I've managed coworkers and kind of informally, like mentored, but I don't have formal management experience. So how can I overcome that barrier?
Because you know exactly what kind of leader can win with the people that are doing what you do. So you're already prepared. Best I can tell, you've been either an RN or a nurse practitioner. Did I add that up right? About 17 years total?
17 years total, 5 of those years NP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the deal. You will be leading who? Nurses and other NPs?
Yes.
But you've been
both NPs and RNs.
Yeah. So here's my point.
And I'm doing the job now. I'm kind of doing the job now. I am counseling other nurse practitioners. Yep. I orient employees when they come on.
So speak to
that. I orient the clinicians.
Speak to your experience. Speak to the experience.
Okay, I have the experience and the knowledge.
Yes, you do. Well, here's the deal. You cannot be a good leader until you've become a good follower. Because it is the experience of a follower that informs us on how we need to lead. I want you to say things like this in the interview. It'll blow their mind, I really believe. Not because I told you to say it, but because very few people talk this way. And when they sit down and interview you and it comes up, about your experience or whatever, I want you to say things like, for 17 years, I've been an RN or an NP. And I have had to follow other leaders. And there have been many times where I have had to lead without a title. And here's what I have done. Here's how I've counseled. Here's how I have led as a peer, not as an actual official leader. And it is because of my unique experience of learning how to follow and learning how to be a team member and to support my leaders. I'm positioned well for this. Because here's what I've written down. And I want you to go into the interview with this stuff in front of you. It's okay to look at notes. And I want you to write down what you believe based on your experience as a follower. I want you to write down what you believe makes a really good leader, specifically with nurses and nurse practitioners. You have such a unique perspective on that. So think about the soft skills, the people skills that a good leader needs to have in this particular space. Think of the technical experience that you bring to the table. You've been through this, you've been through this, you've got all the skills. Now it's about helping others. And I want you to say something to the effect of, here's what I think leadership is ultimately about. It's about caring for the team individually and as a whole. I need to care for them. So that means I'm engaged in making sure that they're doing okay personally because it's going to affect their work. And then the second thing I have to be responsible for is supporting them and serving them so that they can be their absolute best when they're in the clinic and the hospital. That's what leadership is about. And I feel like I'm prepared for this because I know exactly what they're going through emotionally. I know what they're going through logistically. I know it. I've lived it. I've done it. And I'm prepared to lead because of that. I think that's the kind of conversation you have because I think you are qualified to lead based on your experience as a follower. So I'm kind of preaching at you a little bit because I want you to personally believe so that when you go into the interview, it's going to come out of you when you go, it is my actual experience as a follower that makes me qualified to be a leader. Thoughts on that?
Wow. No, that sounds perfect. I think that I'm definitely going to say that. I listened to you. I've recently been listening to you through Dave Ramsey, and last month you said something to a caller. You said about moving up, that you want a growth plan. You want to know what other tasks you can take on.
Yep.
And I followed your advice, and that has really led me to have that interest in moving up and do the work that, do the job now before you actually have the title.
Brilliant.
And it's
That's
working.
so
I followed your advice, and it's working. So
you did it.
So thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome, but you did it. You've really grabbed a hold of this and said, okay, I got this. And let me just tell you that you just gave yourself some other great advice for this interview. Talk about the growth. You don't have to give me credit. Go, you know what I've done personally? I've asked previous leaders for a growth plan to where I can look at this, this, and this, and then I ask for those leaders to measure me, and I'm going to do that with the team as well because I know that it's benefited me, and share examples of that. Because then they go, good grief, Jennifer's amazing. She's going to sit down with every one of them and come up with growth plans that both parties agree with, and now they can monitor it. And go, I mean, they're going to go blown away by you.
Oh, I hope so. I also want to give a shout out to my husband who supports me. I mean, I would not be able to do a really good job at work if I didn't have a good home life.
Nice.
So I feel really well supported.
That's awesome. What's his name? Let's give him some love. Will.
Let's give him some love.
Right,
his name
here's
is
the deal.
Will. He's amazing, and I wouldn't be able to do this without him.
Good. You know what you need to do? Because we're live on YouTube, you need to go back to the show. It'll be up as soon as the show's over. And at about the 17-minute mark, as the show starts, you need to fast forward to that and let's let him see this because I want to talk to Will for a second. Will, this is a big deal, dude. This is a big deal. And you're supporting your wife, and she feels this supported to be able to say this on a national show. Way to go, Will. You're a rock star. And to all the other spouses out there, listen, spouses, let me tell you something. If we're not supporting our spouse, not just emotionally and mentally and spiritually and physically as just spouses, if we're not supporting them professionally, that's a big letdown. So way to go, Will, and way to go, Jennifer. You guys are a super couple. Jennifer, here's what I want you to hear from me. Last thing.
Okay.
Go all in on this. But if for some reason you don't get this, do not be discouraged. Keep yourself out there for the next leadership position, and the right one is going to come along. Do you hear me?
I do. I believe that I'm a child of God, and I believe that He wants the best for me.
Come on.
And it's going to work out. Preach
it, Jennifer. That's the final word. I don't think I could add anything to that. That's just good. Come on, let's go. I may take an offering. I've never done it. Never done it on a show. I don't know how that would work, actually, but I just felt like some music and offering. That was some preaching right there. That was really good, Joe. I love that. All right, let's keep going. Evan now joins us in Charleston, West Virginia. Evan, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, how are you doing?
Evan, I'm living the dream. What are you doing?
Oh, living the dream as well. Could not be better.
All right. Well, what's going on today?
Well, basically, I'm just kind of at a career crossroads. I work for a life insurance company, and I've been there for about a year now. And I love it. You know, it's the best job I've ever had. And I love it in the sense of selling insurance. I don't necessarily love all the other things that come along with the job. But I've recently came across the opportunity of doing something different where I'd sign a contract with a brokerage and be able to sell insurance for multiple different companies and essentially just start my own insurance company that way. And I really don't know if I should leave and start doing my own thing or stay at the kind of safer, secure position that I've been at right now. So I just am looking for some advice.
Yeah. Well, let's just walk through this, because I don't think you need advice. I think you need clarity. And so I'm objective. So I'm going to walk you through this and let you hear yourself. Let's start with, what are the big hurdles or the cons in the pro-con list? What are the negatives, the cons, to you going out and becoming that broker to where you can start your own business and work for yourself? What are the negatives to that? What could possibly be holding you back from doing that?
I'm glad you asked. I actually wrote a list. I put pros of leaving and
well, let's do the negatives. I want the cons first.
Okay. Well, the cons, firstly, is the company does provide us a steady stream of leads. So I always have every month they give us a list of leads to go and sell to. So I would have to buy my own, and so it costs a little more money on the upfront. Which there's places on the open market where I could buy my own, but I would have to lose that.
Okay,
stream of leads.
So you'd have to buy leads, kind of start from scratch is one con. What's another one?
The other one is I just feel like I'd be turning my back on my team, betraying them, basically, because I've got a team of 6 agents under me right now that kind of rely on me and come to me for guidance and mentorship and all that. So if I just up and leave, I would personally feel bad about it.
Okay, why?
I feel like I owe them.
Why? What do you owe them?
I just because I'm just the one that they come to for sales tips and
totally understand
and all that.
Totally understand, but totally understand because you're a really good guy. But we've got to confront this emotion that you're doing something wrong. You literally used one of the most awful words out there, betray. You used a really strong word. Woo, like yikes, really? Betray them? If you go to do what you dream of doing, you're going to betray them? I think it's a strong word, and I call that out. I don't think you're betraying them. So let's look at this further. If you were to leave, what would the company do?
They would promote somebody else to replace me.
Yeah, and so let's assume that they do that. I think that's the correct assumption. What are the chances that the agency can't take care of their current customers, the whole place burns to the ground, and everybody's without a job?
0.
Then you're not betraying anybody.
It's just two of the people on my team specifically are close friends of mine, and they had faith in me when, I told them to take a full commission position. They were.
Wait. Okay, great. Would those two people that are close personal friends that you promised them they'd make really good money, is anything going to change if you leave? Is that promise going to go away? Is the reality of that? I guess they've already achieved that. Yes or no?
Yes, they have gone through and learned how to do the job and everything.
So hold on a second. Okay, well, listen. So that means that what you told them could happen or would happen has happened.
Yes.
Okay, and now it's up to them, right, to do their own sales and go kill their own food and drag it to the cave. True or false?
True.
And you leaving isn't going to affect that. True or false? Come on, Evan.
True. Yeah.
Okay.
They just wouldn't have me to help them do it.
All right, Evan. So this is what it boils down to. This is, I think, the number one thing. Plus your own fear. I think the two big is you're going, oh, crap. I got stability right now because I got a pipeline working and all this. I think that's the biggie. I think the other biggie is you just feel bad for leaving these people. Like you're some sort of awful person, that you're Benedict Arnold. You left George Washington to go work for King George, you awful scum. I think that's the two big things. But the reality is that that's not the case. You're not Benedict Arnold. We just proved that. Now, here's the deal. If you don't think that's true, great. But let me just tell you what the opposite of that is. If you stay, you are going to be sacrificing your dream. You're going to be sacrificing what you want to do, what you believe you should do, all because you're worried somebody's going to get upset at you or think you're a bad guy. Doesn't make any sense to me. What about you?
Well, when you put it that way, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, wait a second. Is that true? Am I spinning it, or is that not true, the way I put that?
it's true.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because listen, I'm not in any way trying to manipulate you, my friend. I'm just letting you know that the way you're thinking about this is how it sounds.
Yeah.
Well,
can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Another part of it that's holding me back, and I think it relates to it, is like this job has changed my life. Like I've been able to I was taught a particular set of skills that I didn't know I was capable of, and it's been able to, change my life for the better and allow me to not worry about money because I have learned sales by my manager and the company that's taught me. So I just feel like I'd be turning my back on the best decision I ever made, which was to work for this company because it's done so much for me.
Right, but
giving them a sense of loyalty.
Okay, so I don't know that I know I can't help you right now. I've already presented to you why that kind of thinking is wrong. And you felt like this is another thing. So we got past the betraying your friends and coworkers. Now it's the same exact narrative, but you've put a different spin on it. Well, now I'm turning my back on these people that gave me a great chance to change my life. Look, dude, you called me. I'm telling you that you've got to weigh the pros and the cons, and all of your cons are based on this emotion that somebody's going to think you're a bad guy. But it's up to you. The desired future that you have, where you're a broker and you're working for yourself and you're providing the insurance, you're doing the work you love, you're making more money than you ever made. I just think this is excelling your life. Yes, you've had life change, but I think the best is yet to come. I think you have a dream. I think you see that it's out there. But it's like you're using your fear of what others are going to say about you as an excuse not to address the biggest fear. And that is, oh boy, can I build a pipeline from scratch? Can I do this? I think it's an excuse.
I'm confident that I can do it. I'd essentially be doing the same thing I'm doing right now, recruiting,
it's your
hiring,
decision.
training.
It's your decision, my
sales.
friend. But I'm telling you, you're not a bad guy if you do this. And I'm telling you, I want you to go reflect on this. And if I'm wrong, I'm okay being wrong. But I think you're using this, well, I'm turning my back, I'm betraying narrative as an excuse not to face your fear. That's what I think.
I appreciate that.
And you're kind of chuckling. Am I right or am I wrong?
I really didn't think of it that way. I'm not.
Yeah, you are though.
But
it's like you're afraid, and you should be afraid. So here's the deal. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to walk out on paper or on a computer spreadsheet. What would have to be true for me to walk from this position to starting out on my own over here? What would have to be true? How much money would I have to spend to get the leads up? How much money would I have to save to cushion me for 3 months? I want you to walk through all the things that would need to be true for it to be a relatively financially seamless process. I think you need that exercise. Get on the other side of that, then come back and wrestle with the other stuff. That's what I think you got to do. But I've addressed this before, folks. I'm going to tell you something. This idea that if I leave for a better future makes me a bad person, it only makes you a bad person if you leave poorly. If you blow up the bridge and act like a jerk, don't do what you should do, don't live up to things that you said you were going to do, and you leave people in a lurch because of character and selfishness, well, then you should feel guilty about leaving. But if you leave for something that's better and leave for something that you should do and leave the right way, then there should be no guilt. But if you leave like a jerk and you leave with no character and you create all kinds of problems, then yeah, you should feel bad. But absent of that, what's going on? And I can't tell you. And again, I could be wrong with Evan. We'll see. But I'm at least going to confront Evan and the rest of you that when we make excuses out of some other things in order for us not to step into the unknown and step into the fear, because there's always going to be fear with something new. Can I just tell you? But we got to step into it. That's when courage shows up. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is, holy crap, but I know I'm supposed to do it. And I do it. So be careful not to make it, well, I could leave these people hanging. Blah, 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 blah. It's all making yourself feel better. about not addressing what's really going on. I'm not saying that happens all the time. I'm saying it happens a lot of the time. And we have got to address through tremendous clarity and vulnerability what we are most afraid of. And if it comes back that Evan is actually not afraid of starting his own thing, but he's just afraid of what other people are going to say about him, great. But now he can wrestle with that. And again, folks, when we leave others behind, it stinks. Can I just tell you, I lost Madison this year, my producer. She's always wanted to do sports television, and she went for it. It was devastating. And I'm sure she wrestled with what's Ken going to think or what are other coworkers going to think and blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you something. She did the right thing. And she left well. So it's like, hey, I love her. Always going to love her. Always going to say good things about her. She left well. She can't be worried about me being disappointed. It's not her. It's not my life. It's her life. It's not my purpose. It's her purpose. Come on, folks. Here's the thing. That's scary. If you don't make the move you're supposed to make because you're worried about what other people are going to say, the very people that you were worried about, upsetting them, angering them, letting them down, whatever, you're going to resent those people. The very people you're worried about, what are they going to say? Those are the people you're going to resent because you're going to wake up many years from now never having done what you know you're supposed to do, and your soul has shrunk up and there's bitterness and resentment. Because you're going to realize, I didn't do it because I was worried what they were going to say. It's not their fault. That's on you. So there you go. All right, quick break. When we come back, a lot to get to. We got Tuesday Juice Day. Why millennials are dumping their jobs to plot a new course. That's coming up. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs.
We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Welcome back to the Ken Coleman Show. Thrilled to have you with us. Coming to you from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville. Coming up in just a minute, we'll get to one of our fun segments we do on Tuesday, the Unknown Juice. I will sample and rate. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm going to tease this because this has the potential to be very interesting because on the actual envelope that I open up to reveal what it is after I taste it, it says, sip it. Do not take a big gulp. So now I got to tell you, anxiety is starting to rise with that one. This is what I signed up for. Nathan, the director, I guess, is the guy behind this one today, and he looks to be very entertained. Look at it. Look how excited he is. This bodes not so good for me, but maybe it'll be good television. We shall see. But first, let's get to it. It's time for In the News. Okay, headline. These millennials are dumping their jobs to plot new careers. With several years in the workforce and some savings, some young professionals take an early career break to reassess and chart a different path. This is a Wall Street Journal article. And in this article, it profiles 3 different millennials. One, Tessa Radin, was so burned out by remote work, she quit her dream job as a program director at the Dramatists Guild Foundation with no backup plan. I don't like that, but she did have the finances to do it. She had enough in savings, and then she went out and got a bartending job, working 5 evening shifts a week. And she's through her savings and then the bar job, it's taking care of her rent and basics. So she was smart, even though she didn't have a backup plan. She was not in any way crazy with her finances. I want to point that out. And then you got another guy who realized, let's see, his name is Andrew. And he realized after being an English teacher over a decade, he became more involved in admissions and other academic support programs. And so through that, he learned a little bit more. And long-term goal now is to work in education technology. So he's taking online classes. So he's going, man, I just didn't feel like I had enough time to get through the next level of education quicker. So he quits. And then another one, Evelyn, is relying on several years of savings and looking into COBRA options as she transitions to full-time writing. She's always wanted to be a writer, but in her plan, she only did a little bit of writing, and so she's planned financially. So they highlight these three people, and as millennials are going, you know what? I'm starting from scratch. I'm starting over. I'm walking away from a good job. So this is the crux of the story. And so this combined with U.S. workers are quitting their jobs at the highest rate in years. I've told you this, people quitting like crazy. Nearly 3% of workers quit in June. Prudential Financial did a survey, 2,000 American workers this spring. Millennials, rather, 2,000 American workers that are millennials this spring. They found that they were antsier than other generations to make a change. A third of millennials, these are age 25 to 40, said they plan to look for a new job post-pandemic, compared with about 25% of workers overall. So there's a bigger itch with millennials. Now, I'm going to break this down as to why I think this is the case. They're 25 to 40. So on the young end of millennials, they're getting closer to 30, and they're kind of like, okay, I did some exploring. I've been working for a while. I want to kind of figure out my real direction here. I'm becoming an adult. Facing 30 will do that to you. Then let's go another decade. Facing 40 is a different dynamic. It's not so much about adulthood. Now you start to go, ooh, impact. Am I doing what I wanted to do? Where's my life? I begin to take surveys daily of where am I in my life in different areas, certainly professionally, because as I get closer to 40, now I'm looking at, well, I hope I'm midlife, but I'm definitely middle-aged. So those two ages put they kind of, it's like pressing on the gas pedal of reflection. And that's what's going on. But let me tell you what's happening with a lot of these millennials that are being featured as examples. I think it's about margin. Let me explain. I think that there's financial margin, and I think there's time margin issues they're looking at. They're going, in some cases, I've got the financial margin to quit and kind of start over, to quit and seek a little bit, right? To quit and try something. The other thing is they've been working from home, a lot of them, and they've been able to get their job done. And so there's a little bit more margin. They go, hey, I can actually do something. I've got some time. The flip side of the time margin is what we've also seen where some people are working from home, and because they're working from home, they're having a hard time separating, and they're working too many hours because they are working from home. And they're going, I can't keep doing this. I don't have enough margin. I want to work, do something I enjoy, but have margin in my life. So I think margins around money and margins around time have made them more comfortable to make a change. And you know what's really ushered the change in for many people is the pandemic itself. Think about how much we hate change. But the pandemic forced more societal change than anything we've seen in the modern era of history. I mean, it just has. You can go back 200. I mean, just in our modern world, the pandemic globally forced more change than anything, more than World War II, more than 9/11. I mean, just nothing comes close to it. It just changed everybody's behaviors, just boom, like that. And when forced to deal with that kind of just colossal, complete change in so many areas of our lives, we go, well, wow, what other things do I need to change now that change has been forced upon me? I think it's made us more comfortable with change than we were previously. And so now, because of the margin issues around time and money, millennials are going, hey, now's the time. So I think that's what's going on. And again, if you've got the margin to be able to do it, I think the time now is to do it. It's so hot, such a great time to do it. All right, here we go. Joe, it's time for Tuesday Juice Day. All right, so here's what Juice Day is. We have a little bit of fun here with an unknown beverage here in this tumbler. And I'm always talking about the juice. Do you have the juice? You have the juice when you're in your sweet spot. when you're using your talent, what you do best, to do work you love, passion, to produce results that matter to your mission. And you just got the juice, right? You could see people, they just love what they're doing, man. And they got the juice. They got enthusiasm that comes from their heart. It's just pouring out of them because of primarily passion and mission. They love what they do, and they're creating results out of that work they love that matter deeply. Then they got the juice. So we thought, all right, let's have some fun with a juice review. And so here are the 2 qualifications the team is required to bring to me. Does not necessarily have to be a juice, but it needs to be A, a beverage, obviously. B, it's supposed to be healthy. And C, it's supposed to promote energy. So there it is. And I'm told to sip it, not take a big gulp. Am I allowed to sniff it? I guess I can do anything I want to because I'm the one doing it. Oh, gosh. That's not good. It feels, when I sniffed it, I sensed some warmth and something earthy. So here we go. I'm not... Why do I have to sip it, not gulp it? Because I'm a child. You told me the thing I'm not to do, so I want to do it.
Well, it's warm, and we don't want to burn you on air.
Oh, yeah. Great. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, glad I sipped it. It's definitely warm. Very brothy. Very brothy. Whew. Can I tell you what comes to mind? What's the soup that you get at the Japanese hibachi restaurants? What do they call that? The standard soup they bring
Miso.
out? Miso. Yeah, miso with a little onion in it. I feel like I just had a sip of miso soup.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like this is. It's not bad. I just don't genuinely drink a lot of warm drinks after my morning coffee. It tastes like miso soup. So I eat the soup at the Japanese restaurant. It's not incredible. Let's see what we got here. Oh, fantastic. I said it was brothy. Good. Bone broth is a liquid containing brewed bones and connective tissues. Ooh, when you hear it that way, it's kind of like, what are the connective tissues that are in that I just sipped? Drinking bone broth may be beneficial for the joints and digestive system, among other things. It's highly nutritious. It protects your joints, helps fight osteoarthritis. It reduces inflammation, helps heal the gut. It aids sleep and helps weight loss. There it is. True story. I've heard this about bone broth before. Never had it before, Nathan. Thank you very much. And did you make this yourself?
Yeah.
It says homemade.
Yeah, we make it at home.
All right. Are you comfortable to share the recipe?
Yeah.
What did you do?
What we do is we get a rotisserie chicken, we eat the meat off of it, and then we take carrots, celery, onion, garlic, and take the rest of the chicken, the leftovers, put it all in a crock pot, you let it sit overnight, you filter everything out, so it's just the broth from that, and you drink it. And it's super healthy for you. It's also really good for your skin.
Really good for your skin. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So you drink this on what, on a daily basis?
Not on a daily basis, but on fairly regular, and we add it to our soups as well. So instead of using like chicken stock, we'll use that instead. It tastes basically the same.
Basically the same, but it's much healthier.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this. All right, very good. This is very exciting. It does taste like the what's in the bottom of the pan when I smoke a turkey. That's what it tasted like, because I love to smoke a turkey on my Kamado Joe, and I do a lot of that. I do the broth, the chicken broth. I do the celery, the carrots, little thyme, rosemary, some pepper, some garlic, salt, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm drinking right now. I might as well have a turkey right here with me. It's fantastic. All right, there you go. Bone broth, folks. You can make it yourself. Pretty cool stuff. Thank you, Nathan. Good stuff. I might sip a little bit more of that.
What's the score?
Oh, I got to rate it. Yes, thank you for reminding me. It's really odd to rate a bone broth because I don't have anything to rate it against. Everything else has been a juice, and so I can rate that. But I need to rate this because we know it's super healthy. The taste is not bad. It's just, again, it's kind of like drinking what's left over in your soup bowl. Chicken noodle soup is what it kind of felt like, So taste, I'm gonna give it a 5. It's like drinking. It's broth. I mean, you can't get excited about broth. You know what I mean? I would have to sample more broth to give any broth more than a 5. But it is tasty. I mean, there's no question about it. I feel like I need to eat some turkey after the show now. So there you go. All right, got to get out of here. But remember this: you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.